All right, good afternoon. It is Tuesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, and it is not a joke that the light is gone. So, about $900 and something later, I've spent over $3,000 on cars, repairs in the last 2 days. This week, it's only Tuesday. Between yesterday and today. So, the other $2,200 were tires, full brakes, rotors, pads, etc., alignment, etc. on my other car. So, and unfortunately, it's an odd tire size, which means it's an expensive tire at that. And then today we got the DEF injector, the DEF reductant injector, is what it was called. It was, I guess, stuck in the open position. It's basically a failed injector. DEF injector, not to be confused with actual injector. Sorry, the sun is pretty blinding. And as well as snow tire changeover. I had them change over back to the regular stock tires that are on this truck. So we're not wearing out the snows, especially as we start towing, which should be in the next week or so, maybe two, but definitely in 2 weeks. We'll be towing every day. We'll see about next week. Next week, maybe half a week. But that's that there. Yeah, but expensive, very expensive couple days, unfortunately, but, it's all stuff that needed to be done, and, you gotta wait. Listen, this truck is expensive as is. I don't need to sugarcoat that. But, you're gonna get these problems in trucks, all, whatever, new, used. The other thing, the car, unfortunately, is tire. You need tires. You gotta have safe tires. You're not putting ling-longs on, a car that you drive 40,000 miles a year. You need brakes, and sometimes it's just, brakes probably could have waited a month or two, but whatever, just bite the bullet. You're doing everything. You're having an expensive month. Just get it all over with, right? It's easier rather than multiple trips with the thing in. Although I probably could have had the brakes done at the next service. The thing is, the next service is a big service at VW, and it's just one of those where it's going to be super expensive, like super expensive. So to add brakes on top of that, I guess whatever, it is what it is. All that being said, this truck, they say it's taken care of. Hopefully it actually is. Hopefully, it seems like the problem checked out. That's what said it was, and they fixed it, and whatever. It's a little more expensive than I thought. Unfortunately, it was not warranted. I guess if I no longer have the emissions warranty, so it probably falls under the emissions warranty, is what I assume. I do have a little bit of my powertrain left. I didn't really make the argument. I should make the argument that without the emissions, the powertrain is no good. The emissions warranty and the powertrain warranty should be the same, because if you don't have emissions, you would essentially don't have a powertrain in these trucks that are choked out by the government. It is what it is. I'm just stating facts. It's a nice move. Good move. Cutting in front of a 8,500-pound truck. But I was also going to give a pro tip of what not to do, which I always forget on this truck. especially because I don't take it down to the city anymore, so it doesn't even cross my brain. But this truck has wheel locks on it, and I never leave them with the wheel locks. And I put the wheel locks in my map, in my like seat pocket, what they call like a map pocket. Ooh, another one. Jesus, they're all fucking out today. And I regret not doing that, obviously. But this is what I'm left with. I'm left with stuff here, stuff in the back. They like basically ransacked the truck, and it's just like, dude, just text me. You know, I'm just gonna go on a little rant about these dealers. Communication, and it's not their fault. They're run to the bone, and it just is what it is. But we need to do better in society, and I'm sure some of the dealers probably have better systems out there. But these guys, it's a small dealer that is basically a big dealer. Like they go through so much inventory. They're just, every bay is, you know, they have guys working out of bays, like outside, you know, doing stuff just because they're so overworked, unfortunately. But communication is just, it's my number one pet peeve with that dealer. It's just not there. They're great otherwise. Their prices are starting to get a little too high, so I'm gonna start looking elsewhere to service. I should have told them to use, I had a shit ton of Ford Pass points. Whatever, it is what it is. The next couple of services will be free. Just thinking that would have been perfect to use on a, see, like I'm trying to merge onto this highway here, and how do you do this when somebody's going 50 fucking miles per hour? You're unreal, unbelievable. Anyhow, I'm gonna stop here. Got the truck back. The truck should be all set for the start of the season. You know, it is what it is. What happened, unfortunately, you run across repairs. It just kind of, it's bittersweet that it's in the beginning of the season. Sweet because you get it over with. I could afford being down a truck even all week. If they said it was an all week thing, you know, whatever. I just get a little delayed on cleanups, no big deal. But if this were to happen a month from now, or even 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, I'd be pissed off because I would need the truck, you know, every day, and it would throw off my schedule. The bitter part is we've had a month of no money. It hasn't snowed or anything since mid-February. It's now April 1st, so it's a month and a half of zero business income. And, you know, obviously we have a business savings account, and that's why you have to, you know, be good with your money, smart with your money. But from a business standpoint, we've had expenses, you know, whether that's the truck, fuel, you know, just equipment, and I haven't even done my services on my equipment yet. I'm behind. I'm very behind this year with everything, and it sucks because winter ended early for us. Spring came early for us, and I'm behind. There's no excuse for that. The excuse is a newborn at home. I was a couple-month-old at home. And just, the weather has been somewhat crappy in terms of, like, every time I have free time, it's been raining, and I don't have much free time, so, you know, of course, that's just the way it works out. But I was able to, excuse me here as I itch my eye, was able to get, trying to think, my backyard is clear, my front yard and side yard is not, which I know those are the ones that people look at, so it looks like I'm not doing anything, but my backyard, the whole backyard is completely clear. In the next week or so, we'll tackle that, and I got to get back out on people's yards. But anyway, just wanted to give update video on the DEF injector. Shit the bed. If you're wondering, the injector itself, you can get them online aftermarket for pretty cheap, for a couple $100. The Ford one's a little bit more expensive. You add in labor, and I don't know what they. Unfortunately, it's, you know, it's closing time for them, and I didn't really get it. You know, is it just did they just swap the injector? Did they have to like clean out the DEF system? Like, I don't know exactly what they did to account for $900 in. You know, but it's just one of these things where these trucks, the hourly rate is so high, so they work on it for 2 hours, bam, you're $300 something in labor. Looks like a $400 part, which that is, you know, they're really jacking up their prices on parts, which I don't appreciate. And they're going to start losing customers on that. And unfortunately, it's been this thing with this dealer where I've had a good relationship with them. They've been nothing but fair, but they're really starting to, and I get it, prices of everything are going up, but I have no problem with the price of their part being a little bit more than I can get online. No problem with that. They got to make their money, and it's convenient. You get that, you know, whatever. The part gets shipped right to the, you know, it is what it is. But to be 2x the cost, you know, I know that's not, there's some Ford dealers selling that same part for about half. That's where I start having the problem. And it's one thing if it's like a $20 part and you're paying 20 and some other places are paying, you know, 10 and whatever, it's not. But once you start getting to the hundreds or thousands, that's where it really becomes messed up and just not good at all. And you know, probably, you know, it's, I'll take my vehicles there, kind of drown out the Ford pass points, and then I'm going to reevaluate, you know, where I go from here. The next service is a fuel filter service along with an oil change. That's probably going to be done summer. So that'll be done summer. And that should probably drown out my Ford pass points. I might have a little left over. I do have a ton of points. So it is what it is. I know you guys say you can buy accessories and whatnot. You can. I don't really have a desire to buy any accessories. I don't know, maybe crossbars for the wife's, but we're not putting anything on the roof of that car, so I don't know. You know, use a little bit on the Explorer. I could take the Explorer in for an oil change, but that's not going to really require much maintenance. I could put it towards, I would like, this is just dreaming one day to get out of this. I've done a video of how the regular tires on this truck are not wearing well. Just the towing and the shitty driving I do and whatever. I'm constantly going through like 2 different sets of tires. Like, you know, basically I had to replace, I didn't get good wear initially on them, and then I did the cheap thing. Instead of just replacing all, I should have scrapped the good years altogether and replaced all 4 with something better. But I just replaced 2 to match, replaced 2 to match, replaced 2 to match, and we've been on a cycle of that a million times. And that's what happens when you kind of tow. We can tow a lot. You go through this vicious cycle. Like, you look at it like, oh, I could spend $500 something on 2, or $600 even on 2 tires, rather than $2,000 on great tires. You know, you're gonna choose that most of the time, especially when cash is tight. And as you're growing and expanding, or even as you're not growing and expanding, and just everything's expensive around you. Money's drying up. But anyway, that's enough of this rant. As we are here, we have no check engine light. We're good to go. The other car is good to go. The only problem I discovered that I have to look into is the VW CarNet all of a sudden is not connected with the vehicle, even though it says it is. So and that's a really cool app in terms of like, it gives you all these driving stats, and it's so much better than the Ford app. And I'm like addicted to like looking at all that stuff, from average miles per gallon to speeds and everything on each individual trip. It shows you, it really is cool. And I'm always kind of constantly looking. It shows you everything. And I'm always looking at that, and I'm kind of bummed that it's not working with the vehicle. So I have to dig into that. I have to dig into I upload these videos on CapCut, and all of a sudden CapCut is giving me issues, and is not having my latest, or behind on uploading videos, but not having it is April 1st. I'm trying to upload a video from March 8th, and it's just not uploading. So I don't know why. I'm good on space. Unfortunately, I'm trying to upload on a older laptop, and I don't know, if it's just software is kind of needs to be more up to date or what. But I gotta look into that. But anyway, so those are the two things and then we gotta get going on cleanups, especially now being April 1st. We really gotta start making our faces seen on these properties, and I'm hoping, well, I want to have all properties cleaned up by Easter, and then, excuse me, not Easter, Palm Sunday, like the weekend before Easter, and then hoping to get first cuts in before Easter. So everybody has like, even if like they don't really need it, but you start, it starts, you get like stragglers. So you get like patches of growth, and then you have patches of stuff that's old, and but when you cut it, it starts to look a little more uniform, and that's what we're going for. Especially if people have family and stuff over for the house, they'd be like, oh wow, our lawn looks brown, but yours is starting to come in, and that's the goal. All right, anyway, I'm about 10 minutes from home. It's Conic. Ooh, that guy is flying. That guy's flying. There's usually a cop up here. He's on his brakes right now. There's no cop, of course. But all right, I'm out of here. Have a good one, guys.